Hello and welcome everyone that's already on. Thank you for joining us. And if you're listening to this later, thank you for tuning in. On behalf of Tavola Group and Tavola Creative, we're excited to have you here for our live session, Building a Marketing Strategy, Smart Tactics for Business Owners. Today's marketplace is more crowded than ever before, and many business owners feel overwhelmed by where to focus their marketing efforts. With so many platforms, tools, trends competing for your attention, it can be difficult to know what actually works. Today, our goal is to cut through all that noise and share practical strategies to help you build a clear, focused marketing approach that supports real business growth. Quick introduction, my name is Matt Schumacher. I'm the Director of Tax Planning at Tavola Group, and I'll be hosting today's session. While Tavola is best known for tax and advisory services, we work closely with business owners on overall strategy and long-term growth. One thing we see consistently is that strong marketing and strong financial strategies go hand in hand. If you have any questions after today's session, whether it's tax related, accounting related, or marketing related, you can reach out to me using this information here. Today, we'll be joined by our marketing expert who will walk through the key elements of building a marketing strategy that aligns with your goals, your audience, and your budget. Before we get into that, and I make an introduction, quick disclaimer. Tavola Group and its employees do not provide investment, tax, or legal advice during this session. This webinar is for education purposes only. A little bit about Tavola Group. Our name reflects our approach. Tavola means table in Italian, and that's exactly how we work with our clients, sitting alongside them during the strategic conversations that matter most. We lead with proactive strategy, helping business owners anticipate challenges, identify opportunities, and make decisions that build long-term wealth while minimizing risk. Our work is rooted in understanding that success isn't just about numbers, it's about family, opportunity, and legacy. We also prioritize efficiency and collaboration. Your accountant, attorney, and marketing advisors work together as one team, creating a seamless experience so you can stay focused on running and growing your business. Why partner with Tavola Creative? As businesses grow, marketing often becomes fragmented, different vendors, disconnected campaigns, and inconsistent messaging. That's where Tavola Creative comes in. Our team brings all of your digital marketing efforts under one strategic umbrella, creating cohesive campaigns designed to drive measurable growth. Our services include social media management to build engagement and community, paid advertising campaigns optimized for return on investment, website design focused on user experience and conversions, and branding that ensures consistent visual messaging across every platform. Our process is structured and results-driven, onboarding strategy, development, launch, and ongoing performance tracking, and a clear focus on ROI. Now, I'm excited to introduce today's presenter, Janelle Rabine, who is the managing partner of Tavola Creative. Janelle works closely with business owners to develop marketing strategies that are practical, data-driven, and aligned with real business goals. She brings extensive experience in branding, digital strategy, and campaign development across multiple industries. If you'd like to connect with her after the session, her contact information is included on this presentation, which will also be emailed out after. Janelle, thank you for being here today. I'll turn it over to you to walk us through the marketing strategy that works.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes. So we'll just get into the agenda here. We're going to be talking about the modern marketing struggle, what a brand is, messaging development and consistency. Then we're going to talk about content that converts, maximizing SEO, measuring success, and then we'll have a Q&A and a closing. So why marketing feels so overwhelming? It's all a part of the daily grind. So social media, email campaigns, ads, SEO, it all gets put on the back burner because you're busy running your business, and it's a lot of things that take a lot of time. And the real problem is that you need a more strategic outlook and think long term, as opposed to trying to squeeze in marketing touches here and there. So strategy is really the big picture, and tactics are specific actions that go into the strategy to execute it. We're going to be going through some tactics here, but also we want to talk about the basics of brand development. So lastly on this slide, just small businesses that don't have marketing teams, they need clarity and they need structure, and they need to minimize the complexity. So we're going to try to help you with that today. What is a brand? It's not your logo, it's not your colors, it's the experience, expectations, and perception of your audience. So how do people feel when they interact with your business? What do they expect and how do they think about you? Logos, colors, and name, they all help to get those feelings, but your story and your prices and your customer service, all of these things build a brand. We're going to talk about the building blocks of your brand. So first off, positioning, where you sit and how you differ from your competitors. Are you a new company? Do you have 30 years of experience? Are you a company that is known for your great prices, or are you a premium product? Really just how you compete in the market. The next one is visual identity. So your logo, your fonts, your colors, the images, what you use on your website. It could even include, if you have a store, what your aesthetics are in your store, anything that is visual and gives you the feeling of what your brand is. Next is messaging. So what do you say? What's your story? What's your mission statement? At my previous company, we used the word world class wherever we could, and that was really ingrained in everyone's head, so that was part of our messaging. From the receptionist to sales, everybody used world class. Liquid Death is a brand that stands out to me when I think about tones. It's just canned water, but they deliberately have this kind of like a punk, mean, anti-establishment brand, and it really is pushed extensively. They have messaging like "Murder Your Thirst" and "Rest in Peach." They even have a new flavor called Dead Billionaire, and that stemmed from, it was originally called, like, I think it was Armless Palmer, and it was an Arnold Palmer flavor, and they got sued, so they ended up calling it Dead Billionaire. And so all of those words give a sense of what this company is, when really they're just water. Target audience. So who are you marketing to? Again, for Liquid Death, they are just water, so they could literally market to anyone. But to set themselves apart, they really focus on Gen Z and millennials who like their humor and their authenticity, and then they target people who don't want to drink. They don't want to drink at like a concert, but they also don't want to have a water bottle in their hand. So Liquid Death looks cool, and it looks like you're having fun versus having just a water bottle. And lastly, their target is environmentally friendly people. So people who support their Death to Plastic campaign. Mission and values. This takes messaging to another level by outwardly expressing what you stand for. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. The brand promise, what customers can count on when they call you and when they walk through your doors. Are they getting everything that you marketed and promised to them? So why is a brand strategy so complex? You need a long-term vision. So it's hard to not be reactive in marketing, especially when you have a sales team that's asking for things constantly. They need literature, they need emails, email blasts, whatever the sales team needs, it always seems like they need it immediately. But having that long-term vision that you're proactive with is extremely important. Alignment, so everything that you put out needs to sing the same tune. Ads, websites, messaging, it's all going to need to have that same vibe. And I'll use Liquid Death as an example again because they do it so well. They're never going to have anything that's happy or fun. Everything's going to be hardcore and really reinforcing their brand. The next one is that it shapes perception. So people are going to be forming opinions of your brand, even if you aren't driving the narrative. For example, Samsung phones, when they were exploding years ago, that's not something that they wanted to have associated with their brand. And it definitely made people reconsider buying when they were looking at Samsung phones. But the way that they really had to like call in the PR team and get their messaging straight and recall a lot of things to make sure that people weren't always going to associate exploding phones with Samsung. Lastly, you need to evolve. So your business is hopefully going to get better and change, but even if it doesn't change, the society is going to change around it. So a lot of food brands right now are removing preservatives and artificial flavors in response to a more health conscious society. That's one example of things that, when society changes, companies change along with it. The word AI isn't anything that can have the word AI right now because it's new and exciting and it catches people's attention. But not all rebrands are successful. So the newest big fail in my mind is Cracker Barrel. And I think everybody can attest to liking that old timey feel. And when they changed it to be more modern, it was not good for their marketing. And they should have had some focus groups to understand that was not going to be a positive change. So here are some easy tactics for developing your mission, your messaging. First, it's asking your team the right questions. So what do we stand for? What are we problem solving for? Next is leveraging AI. So AI, when you're coming up with messaging, is huge for just accelerating the brainstorming process, giving it the right AI prompts to get you an as customized result as possible. So using your product, your audience, what problem you're solving, maybe the values that you came up with your team, and then using that and then refining it with your team to give it a human feel. You don't want to use whatever AI gives you. You just want to use that as kind of a spark to ignite some brainstorming. Then you let it simmer and talk about it with your team. Make sure that it's something that resonates and can be used long term. And finally, you're going to want to test that messaging with actual or ideal customers and adjust accordingly. Upholding consistency everywhere. So documentation is key. You want to document colors, exact fonts, logos, even the obvious things like how much distance you want between your logo and other things. At a previous company, we had a brand guideline book that was consistent for multiple companies. So it was the same colors, fonts, messaging, but just different company names. And one of the companies put their logo directly on top of another logo. It was on a piece of equipment. It was a big milling machine, and it said "Workin" on the milling machine, and they just decided to overlay our logo right on top of it. And really, like what is obvious to a lot of people, if they don't have like a marketing mind at all, they thought it was fine. So you really got to be specific, especially as you're growing and you're onboarding new members. And that is why, so preaching the guidelines to people you train and even people you hire, so that right up front, your new team members can abide by your brand and your mission and your values. And then lastly, I would recommend forming like a committee, especially if your team is spread out and has different departments. It's great to have multiple people guiding the team just to stay consistent.
Looks like I just got a question. 1 second, Janelle. All right. Appreciate the question. Does my business really need a brand committee or official brand guidelines / documents if we're a small business with a small team?
I recommend always having it. I mean, even if it's a 2-person team, it's good to keep everybody on the same page, especially when it comes to fonts and colors. Even the slightest, we had a very solid red color at my previous company, and I could immediately tell if it was the wrong red, So having the specifics behind it all is something that I do recommend.
Yeah, one of the things that came to mind, Janelle, and you and I have had this conversation with so many different people over the last few months, is that if you're working in your business and on your business, sometimes you get tunnel vision. And some things seem really obvious to the owner who's making all the decisions, but at some point you might be growing and bringing in a marketing person or someone that's going to be assisting. And to keep all things consistent is the best way to have it documented. But also, having a brand committee doesn't mean you have to go get 12 friends that have no idea or care. It's like, hey, having your team or somebody close that can speak into it, that can make sure it's staying on brand and you're not taking a big left turn without actually having a conversation. So It doesn't have to be a big board. It just has to have a kind of a checks and balance for yourself, just so you don't have the tunnel vision and you're still going in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So this slide is just driving home where you need consistency. So website copy, customer service, when people are answering the phone, to have the same, friendly tone and delivering the same message. Social media, and then sales conversations. And obviously there's an endless amount of things we could have listed, trade show booths, anything that you hand out to someone, business cards, etc. So crafting messages that convert. How do we really get through to audiences? And first on here is understanding their struggles and who do they blame for those struggles. Next is lead with the problem. A lot of people want to lead with accolades or testimonials, fancy product features. But if there's a problem that is in the mind of your audience and it resonates with them, that is going to help. That's going to sit with them way more than saying that you got awarded, the best company to work for 2 years ago. Your marketing needs to match their problem and their journey and their language to meet them where they're at. So you don't want to sound like noise. You want to sound like their solution. And then once you have that problem, if you can agitate the problem. So what happens if their problem isn't resolved? One of our team members did a great job of this recently on a client's social media. So they had a post, and it just said the customer, first of all, is a holistic. She's in the holistic field, and the service she was pushing was detoxing. So the post said, taking probiotics on a clogged gut is like planting a flower in a landfill. It led with the problem. It painted a picture of the problem, and then within the post content, it really agitated by saying, people, if you're not doing these detoxes, you could feel sluggish. It's going to help with certain things that not getting the detox would. So presenting the solution, in this case, the solution is the detox. Next is lead with relevance. You have a short window to grab people's attention. A 30-second elevator pitch is great for sales, but in digital marketing, you need to be a lot quicker. You need to have a hook right away because people can just keep scrolling. There's nothing stopping them. They're not trapped in an elevator with you. They're just going to keep scrolling if they don't see something that hooks them in. So once you have them interested, then you can build that trust with them. Things like testimonials, case studies, social credibility, which would include partnerships and collaborations with other content creators, and then just building your reputation by delivering on what you promise. Okay, managing content to be seen. So that is for like SEO, and we can talk about search engines, but we can also talk about AI now. So quality beats quantity. Never post things that aren't relevant. Engagement also beats frequency. So genuine conversations with your social media or blog helps your SEO more than a whole bunch of content that no one looks at would. And then if you do post just to have content, you're really telling the algorithms that people don't find you relevant, and you'll show up less. So here's some website tactics to maximize SEO. First, have clear headers that communicate value immediately. obvious calls to action. So you don't want people searching through your website on how to reach or buy your products. That just leaves them time to leave, so, or change their mind. So you want to have immediate call to actions. Simple navigation, again, making sure that you get them where they want to go. Fresh content to show you're active. This is really important for search engines. And as I mentioned, also now AI. It's something showing them that your info is not outdated. And the more context you put behind your pages, the better. Load speed, always important. And the big reasons for that is, first off, people will leave. And second off, it's just bad for Google. They'll crawl the website and see that your load time is long and hold that against you when it comes to ranking. And then optimize content, again, not just with keywords, but with content around the keywords.
I just got a question. I think it's a very timely question, not just for the slide, but in the environment we find ourselves with AI. The question is, how does search engine AI like ChatGPT find my website, and do I need to code differently to be seen on those platforms?
Yeah, so I would say no, it's more with Google, it's about the keywords. So really like stuffing words, your location, your services is important. And with AI, it's more about context and answering questions that people might have. So I'm going to use my previous company again as an example. Instead of saying we want a driveway paver in Chicago, that would be good for Google. You want to answer questions that someone might have, like how thick should my driveway be, and really like go into the detail about the thickness. What's the best time of the year to pave in Chicago, and then really answer all the questions. So it's not just about the words, it's really about the content and everything around those words. Social media tactics for maximizing SEO. You should be where your audience is. So choosing the right platform is extremely important. Facebook is big with the boomers and also important for Gen X and millennials. YouTube is a bit more for that, I would say, like 18 to 40 demographic, but everybody watches YouTube. I mean, kids watch YouTube. And then LinkedIn is for people that are in the professional field, and I would say like 35 plus. And then TikTok and Snapchat chat is for teens and Gen Z. So it really depends on who you're selling to, is where you want to focus your attention. Be consistently valuable and not consistently promotional. People aren't going to want to follow you if you're constantly just saying what your services are. Engage with comments. So building a community within your platforms by answering questions and conversing, and depending on your messaging and your tone, like joking around with people, and really just building the community. Repurposing content strategically, so you can post the same content as long as you're making the changes to fit each of the platforms. And then collaborating with brands or creators. And this one really gives you credibility, but it also gives you a spotlight for their followers. So an example that we have recently, we have a customer in the hemp industry, and they became verified with an environmental brand, and they had over 80,000 followers. So when we did a collaboration post, we were really spotlighting our client to all of their 80,000 followers.
I got a great question, and I'm actually very interested to hear how you're going to respond, Janelle, because I have more questions to answer this question, in my opinion. The question is, if my engagement on social media is high, but my sales are low, what should I specifically change to gain revenue?
Yeah, that is a good question. So, and it's a tough one because when your engagement is high, that you're obviously getting people that like your content. They think you're entertaining, or they think your content is educational or interesting, but maybe they're not your right audience to be getting high engagement but not selling. So I would really look and see who's interacting with your posts, and see if they're the right demographic that you should be targeting. And if not, changing your tactics, either testing some different messaging, and really like tweaking things and pivoting things in a big way.
I'm not going to call out the person that said that by name, but if you want to reach out to Janelle or myself after this webinar, we'd love to continue the conversation to get more specific for you.
All right, measuring what matters. So make sure that you're tracking through Meta, Google, your website dashboard. You're looking for engagement patterns. So what content gets attention, lead sources, where your sales are coming from, and conversion paths. So that's really like, where do people drop off? Are they filling out part of a form and then not submitting? And in that case, where are they not submitting? Do we need to shorten the form? Do we need to change the questions? Or like the previous question, are people following you on social media, but then they never take the next step? All of those things are important to know and to really analyze. And then you can double down on what's working and invest in that, or pivot and pause on what is not working.
All right. So before we wrap up, if there's any other questions, now would be the perfect time to send those over. I did just get one question, Janelle. And we'll give some more time for other people. This is, how long does it take realistically for a new social media account to gain traction?
Yes, that's a hard one too. So I would say it depends on the industry and your angle. We usually say that at least 3 months to find your rhythm and to get like the algorithms to understand what you're trying to put across. So 3 months at minimum for that. But then to gain traction, if you're wanting to understand your audience and have a good cadence with posting, I would say like 6 to 9 months. And then also, if you want to pay to play, spending money on Meta ads definitely would boost that and get you where you want to be faster.
Yeah, one of the big takeaways, I think, and I think this is going to be a blanket answer for a lot of the potential questions here, is marketing isn't a one-size-fits-all. There are some strategies that you can explore, but the actual like pushing and pulling of what levers for the specific brand to help you achieve your goals takes experience, know-how, and like constant iterations. One thing that I love, like what you're doing, Janelle, with Tavola Creative, is you don't come at it like most marketing agencies where it's like, hey, oh, you want us to handle your social media, we're going to do it XYZ, and this is the results you should get. It's like, hey, what are you trying to achieve here? Is social media the best way of doing this, or is it a combination of more? Like, what's your total marketing mix, and what are your short, mid, and long-term goals? And you guys, what I think makes you guys stand out in the industry really is taking the time to get to know your clients and building a personal relationship to help them, step by step, saying, hey, these are expectations over the next 90 days or 9 months, or hey, we can help you strive for that goal, but realistically, it might take a year. Really, in a very shark-infested waters, there's a lot of marketing agencies and a lot of people that say marketing's easy. You really cut through the noise and really focus on helping the clients.
Yeah.
I don't see any more questions right now, but if you do come up with something, our contact information's on the thing on our screen right now. Just want to say thank you for joining us today. We hope this session gave you some clarity, some practical direction for strengthening your marketing strategy, or at least prompted some thought. If you'd like to continue the conversation with Tavola Group or Tavola Creative, we offer a complimentary consultation to review your current strategy and identify opportunities for growth. There's a few people that posted some questions that I didn't read out loud, but we'll follow up with you directly after. There's no cost for the consultation, no pressure, just guidance to help you make a smarter, more strategic decision for your business. You can reach us by using the contact information here. A recording of this webinar will be shared in a follow-up email. On behalf of Tavola Group and Tavola Creative, we want to thank you again for today. Janelle, thank you so much. And to everyone out there, we look forward to supporting you as you continue to grow.